This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Wednesday, June 12. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. A batch of prisoners at Her Majesty's Prison Dodds who have been on remand for more than 2 years without their cases being heard could soon get their day in court. Home Affairs Minister Edmund Hinkson today disclosed he has handed a list of these prisoners to the Attorney General, and he assured that authorities will ensure that they are brought before the court in the shortest possible time. The development comes on the heels of a court case last Thursday involving Winston Agard, who was on remand for 7 years without being brought before the court. Minister Hinkson described the incident as a travesty that should not happen in Barbados. He disclosed that he has instructed prison management to put a system in place whereby the authorities responsible for bringing prisoners to trial will be informed of similar cases in the future. Hinkson has also called for plea and direction hearing, which was established by former Chief Justice Sir David Simmons, to be reintroduced. Scores of CLICO life insurance policyholders gathered at the offices of Resolution Life for the second straight day to receive long overdue payments of their investments and claims. Back in March, Prime Minister Mia Mottley had announced the payment plan for the policyholders who were left empty-handed when CLICO collapsed in 2009. Today, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, observed the process and spoke to some of those anxiously waiting. He told reporters most of the policyholders were satisfied with the process, but he said there were lingering concerns that it had taken 10 years to resolve the matter.
Some of the feedback relating to the fact that there will be, in part, given the quantums, the issuance of 15-year bonds to deliver the cash payout, but I've sought to give comfort, in a sense, to those persons that won. I hope that they live through that 15-year period, because a lot of persons would have indicated they have some health issues and are concerned about the length of time with respect to getting some monies back. But I think that it gives an opportunity, obviously, for families to be able to plan out their futures, and in the event that persons don't necessarily live to see the 15 years, it gives an opportunity, obviously, for those monies to be passed on to their families. But I think, generally speaking, from the feedback this afternoon, most persons are reasonably satisfied that they've gotten to this point. Policyholders and claimants are expected to benefit from a settlement package comprised of $103 million cash payout and over $300 million in bonds. This will see eligible policyholders or claimants due less than $20,000 receiving cash and the balance in 15-year bonds. Chairman of Resolution Life, Tony Hoyes, told reporters the board is also working on a measure which could allow policyholders to cash in their bonds.
And what the Board of Directors of Resolution Life is going to work on now, is to create a secondary market in those bonds, so that if some person preferred to cash their bonds out now, there would be a willing buyer and the price will be stated, and you would have the option to cash in all or some part of your bonds. So that is an active process that's undergoing now, and we hope to announce that within a month or so.
In other news this Wednesday, tourism numbers are up for the January to May period this year. Tourism Minister Kerry Simmons delivered the upbeat news today. He was giving his first address to members of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, which held their annual general meeting at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. He said he was aware that the taxes imposed on the sector last year made it more difficult, but pointing to the performance, he says the future of the sector remains bright.
Barbados has attracted 324,551 stay-over visitors. That is January to May, and that is a 13,907 increase over where we were January to May of last year.
However, while expressing satisfaction with the visitor arrival numbers, Minister Simmons made it clear that he wants tourists to spend more in Barbados.
I feel, and I am unapologetic on this point, that the issue for us really has to be to look at the visitor spend And the statistic to which I prefer to draw your attention is the Caribbean Tourism Organization stayover expenditure for January to December 2018. And they say that the total visitor expenditure in Barbados grew from $1 billion US in 2017 to $1.2 billion United States dollars in 2018. And they focus on $285 million increase over 2017 coming out of the United States market, and $147 million increase over 2017 coming out of the Canadian market.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now. In Guyana, close to 100 Fly Jamaica workers who were made redundant since March 31 are still empty-handed. Since November 2018, the carrier ceased operations after one of its aircraft crashed at the Chedi Jagan International Airport.
Former senior cabin crew member Tisha Corbin told reporters that they were informed by the department prior to the meeting on Tuesday that some form of resolution would have been arrived at the meeting. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
First of all, they're saying that they have no knowledge, proper knowledge of the whole issue at hand. So as we all know, Fly Jamaica crashed November 9th. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. We're now in June, and now you're saying, this ministry is saying to Fly Jamaica employees that they have no knowledge really or no understanding of the matter at hand. So really, I don't know where we're at. I'm very disappointed. I am truly, truly disappointed.
On the international front, police fired tear gas and rubber bullets at protesters in Hong Kong on Wednesday, hours after tens of thousands of mostly young people surrounded the city's government headquarters, forcing the postponement of debate over a controversial bill that would allow fugitives to be extradited to China. More in this report from Al Jazeera Television.
Major intersections in central Hong Kong transformed into front lines as violent confrontations between riot police and pro-democracy protesters escalated throughout the day. The fighting was near the Legislative Council headquarters, where the proposed extradition law was due to be debated. But the government session was postponed because legislators couldn't avoid the protesters to get into the building or anywhere close. Late in the afternoon, riot police fired tear gas and pepper spray at the protesters, then rubber bullets.
So right now what you're seeing is this is one of the main areas where this confrontation between police and the protesters has been going on. What's amazing is the communication between the protesters. Now that this has happened here, this tear gas is here, they're going to roll back and then they're going to tell everyone well behind that this has happened, so everybody will push back. Like, look how quickly this is cleared out.
From early in the morning, protesters blocked roads leading to the Central District, the heart of Hong Kong.
Well, we're here to save Hong Kong. We have to save the rule of law, and then we have to make sure that one country, two systems commitment is being bringing on and to continue and not to lose Hong Kong. I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm everything. We are here and then we'll stay until this evil law is going away.
The so-called one country, two systems were freedoms guaranteed in the treaty when colonial rulers Britain handed over Hong Kong to China in 1997. One of the organizers of Sunday's Million People March demanded the government scrap the extradition law. China's leaders say the law is necessary to close a legal loophole which allows suspected criminals to escape prosecution.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, and you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.